And whilst
Going into the Zoomosphere here.
here we are, even though it says, hey, we're just setting this up, I know from experience that we're already live, and I can just tell you that right now. Oh, yep, there it is. There it is. I'm watching your hands do the wave.
Oh,
Okay. All right. It's always on a little bit of a delay, so we'll have to speak in a way that no, I'm teasing. Hey, first of all, I haven't even said hi to James, so I'm going to say hi. Good to see you, brother.
Mate, it's always good to see you too. Great to be here.
Well, and the thing is, I get a lot of James time all at once, and then I have to go. I have to go and have. It's kind of like the little deserts, and then there's these little oases of James time that I get. So, hey guys, welcome to today's live feed. Me and James are just gonna we're gonna talk a little bit about our retreats, Wim Hof method. We'll take questions from the audience. Jessica, good to see you. Hey, it's Jessica Johnson. Hey, we miss you too. And M. Peter, always good to see you on this. So we're going to have some fun. If you guys have questions, comments, etc., feel free to throw them there. And we're just going to have a good time. But yeah, James, I don't get to see you. I get to see you in concentrated times. And then, so it's good to actually see your face.
You too, mate. I know. I know back in the Midwest method days, you were certainly a Midwest guy. But following your travels now, you're coast to coast, mate. What do they say? Wall to wall and 10 foot tall. So
I like that.
You're getting there. So most people wouldn't imagine that. You're an English professor, right? Everyone thinks you're the master of breathwork. So
well, and that's the thing. I was saying just before we went live. My docket has gotten so full that I'm not sure how I'm going to squeeze in being an English professor.
Yeah, and to be truthful, I mean, I'm a little jealous. You've been doing some fun stuff, with some interesting people, and I know you've got some pretty cool stuff coming up with, some other friends of ours, and again, really interesting people. So that's really cool, mate. I'm happy to be here. I love talking to you. Love hanging out with you.
Well, I love it when you're here, man. And I got to say, the retreats that we do out in Wisconsin, I got to say, are really special to me. And I don't know if I mentioned this. I know I told you about it because, I tell you a lot of things. But the last time we did a retreat was it March?
Yeah, mid-March.
Mid-March. And the last time we did that retreat out there at Sand Valley was the first time I brought my family along. And so good to see good group here, guys. I'm loving the names I'm seeing here. Good to see you, everybody. And I got to tell you guys, and I mentioned this to you, bringing your family along, it does change the dynamics because most of the time, it's just me and I'm flying in and or driving in or whatever, and it's okay. Let's get this done. Awesome. We have this great experience, and then you go back to your room and it's just you, and then I go back to my room and it's like, oh hey, I know you guys. Oh great, So it was really kind of cool. My son, he hadn't. I don't think he had seen me do ice bathing with, actually ice bathe other people in years since he was super little. And so he got to see us doing ice baths when we did those. And it was just really kind of a special, just a special time. So, and of course, since the food is really good, he loved the hot dogs and all these it's all gourmet. If you get it wasn't even a hot dog. It's like, what is it? Like some kind of a brat.
It's a Wisconsin brat. Yeah, they're made pretty locally to Wisconsin. Oh, well, to that part of Wisconsin. Yeah, John does a good job of sourcing local stuff up there, and it's awesome.
I know, and it was just, and then we all actually, you and your son took us fishing.
Yeah, it was great to connect with Mal, and it's fishing's one of my things, and it's always awesome to watch, especially the excitement of kids, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're catching little bass and little sunfish, little bluegill and stuff in one of the ponds up there, and they were just having an awesome time. I think my son's a little older than yours, but they were running around the dock, fishing and having fun, and putting worms on the hook. So it was really cool. It was great to connect with your family. And the reality is Sand Valley's sort of a magical place for that, right? There's plenty of things to do outside, whether it's summertime, wintertime. I know it's, a golf resort, and they're pretty busy at the moment. I think they've got a fully booked golf season, which is well underway. So, but it really
You can see why. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, should we talk about that? Should we like, is that where we can go first, or should we just tease it along a little bit?
I don't know how long we can tease. Let's get right into it. Let's get right. I'm the kind of guy who I just get right into things. You know that. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, because I mean, here it is, July. It's kind of hard to even believe. It's kind of hard to even think about in a matter of 6 months we'll be doing.
Yep.
Yeah. So in 6 months we'll be out there. So it's we've got a little bit of time, but we're actually right now. One of the reasons why I'm wanting to, and we were talking about doing this specifically on this channel, for those of you guys who want to get in on these events that we're coming out with, of course, we actually, there's a discount for signing up early even. So we'll kind of talk about that here in a minute, right? There's there's bonus stuff, early bird.
We get early bird specials, and so I guess really we're on here to, we're pretty excited. We've forged a really great relationship with, the Kaiser family and the management team up there in Sand Valley. And so, they're really keen and excited to have us back. I think when we finished our last event there, I think the first thing they said is, we've already made dates for next year.
That's right.
So we were super excited. Obviously that was something Jesse and I wanted to do, but
yes.
And it's perfect timing. It's the first weekend in January, first full weekend in January. So it's January 7th through January 9.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the New Year's Eve weekend, but it's the first weekend. And so it's a Friday night through a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
We've done it now before. And certainly, our first retreats up there were phenomenal. But what is always the case is when you do something for the first time, you learn how to improve it the next time around. Not that the first time wasn't, just fantastic. And, it blew my expectations. So it's exciting to be able to go back and have this sort of lead time to be able to, create, just something unique and special and really tailor it to what we want to be able to provide for everybody. So
yeah, exactly. JCC Piano Studios is representing the Midwest vibe to the world. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Jonathan, nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, my friend. And of course he was out there. He can vouch for our experience out there as well. But one of the things that I loved about those two retreats that we did is, we had access to a lot of natural beauty. And it's kind of weird. I saw the pictures because you went out there and you took some pictures. You're like, hey, I found this really cool spot, And this is, for everybody watching, this is kind of what, me and James, a lot of times we're like, hey, I've got this cool idea. We kind of throw these ideas back and forth and, oh, there's a really cool place over here. And I may check this out. And James, he took these pictures and I was like, it's weird. It's like sand all, like they're literally, when they call it Sand Valley, they're not kidding. It's these sand dunes in the middle of the Midwest. And you get the kind of grass tufts that you feel like there's got to be a beach just over here.
Yeah, over that dune is the ocean, right?
Yeah. And so when we were there, of course, the first time we were there, it was super idyllic, and if you guys can come to the January session, of course, both of them are going to be great because they're really back to back. January, February is what we're doing this year. And so both of them should be just perfect Wim Hof weather. But that first time we got to dig, it was so cold. It was so cold that James had already he already had like a cutout spot for us.
And
And
we're talking about the lake that we do one of the ice dips. One of the cold exposures is we cut a big hole in, big trough in the lake, and
yeah, and it was perfectly cut out. He already had a spot for our ice dip, and it was so cold that there would be like pretty much a film of ice almost immediately that would form on the top of the water. And so eventually, though, me and James, we went out there, and James gets in, and he says, "I've got great news and I've got bad news." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "The good news is it's plenty cold in here." Okay. He said the bad news is, and then he was like, it was like up to this on him. He just barely could stand up in the ice. So I got in and I was just kind of swimming around. I was like, whoa, James is significantly taller than me. And so we had to make another hole. And of course, I'm an expert at making ice holes. I got this auger, and and James is much better at actually that than I am. So
I'd ice fished a few times, to be fair.
I'd never ice fished before. Has anybody in this group, have you guys done ice fishing? I had never done it before. But yeah, it was really cool. We had another hole. It was about perfect. Actually, it was so perfect that you could kind of sit down on the sand in the pond whenever you were doing the ice bathing. But yeah, that was just absolutely mind-blowingly awesome.
It's pretty, like Sand Valley's idyllic, right? We've 10,000 acres. It's beautiful nature. Set on a golf course, so it's not purely natural setting, but the Kaisers have done, the family that owns the resort up there have done an amazing job of, with the flora and the fauna. They have an in-house sort of, I know she's not a naturalist, but she's gone to school in biology or something. Yeah. Chelsea's amazing, and they've actually like reintroduced some plants to help support one of the local endangered butterflies, and so they're really conscious about making the area in as a natural setting as possible, because it's an old forestry reserve, right? So there's a lot of pine trees still, but they've done a really good job there. So
and she takes everybody on those nature walks.
Yeah.
And you can choose to go straight up Hoff style, and go just in shorts if you want to. Or you don't have to. It's optional. But we had quite a few people actually go the full way. But yeah, so we're looking forward. We had such a great experience last year, and of course, Sand Valley was such a great host that we're just really happy to be working with them again. And so we're going to be doing 2 retreats.
Yeah. So the first one, as we're talking about, January 9 through 7. And the what you get, right? So
give me the details is what everybody's saying. Everybody's saying, give me them tails.
Right. So, Friday night, Saturday night. So this is what's included. You're certainly welcome to come before. I think you can stay after. I know Jesse did the other time.
I usually do.
Yeah. But so you get 2 nights accommodation, which is Friday night, Saturday night, and we'll have a welcome dinner together. One of the things we really wanted to do when we've worked with them is how do we make it more inclusive as a group, as us, so what we've been able to do is also include all of our meals. Those of you,
and that's huge.
Yeah. So, and it's not like a Holiday Inn sort of
continental breakfast type deal.
Yeah, it's there's a sit down menu. I know it's going to be slightly changed to try to, breakfast won't be, but dinners will be the only thing that's a little bit different. So you get dinner Friday night, breakfast, lunch, and dinner Saturday, and then breakfast and lunch on Sunday, and then you're free to leave Sunday afternoon. You get access to all the resorts. So they have fat tire biking. We talked about fishing. I've ice fished there, a couple of times. My son loves it. If there's enough snow, which I'm pretty sure there will be by January, that they have a couple of really cool, tobogganing hills that my son said was the fastest that he's ever been on.
That's awesome.
If you can slide long enough, you go out onto one of the lakes, which is amazing. So they have amenities there that you can use. That most of that is free of charge. There may be a small charge for the fishing, or you can just go and walk the grounds. The grounds are amazing. What you get with the Wim Hof experience is, we're going to do multiple breathwork sessions.
Yep.
So we'll do some breathwork on Saturday. I mean, on Friday night after, not straight after dinner, but in the evening there after dinner. And then Saturday, we'll have a session, right? So we're going to have, a sit down. We're going to go through a little bit of science. It's somewhat like a workshop, but we certainly try to tailor it and give you guys, a very unique experience, and we take it in. We have some flexibility to see where the group wants to go. So we'll do that on Saturday. We then are able to do a cold exposure in different ways. We can be outside, barefoot in the snow. We can do ice baths, in tubs, that sort of thing. And so we'll be able to do that. You'll certainly get some free time because it's an amazing place. We want to make sure you have plenty of time to explore the area. So you'll have some free time on Saturday, sort of between, like just after lunch until early evening. And then we want to come back together for, another breathwork session. And then we'll do dinner. And again, this will be something that's different to last year, is your dinner's included, and we'll do it together, whether it's sitting like a buffet type style, or whether we're sitting at tables and doing a family sort of portions to the table. And again, I know we talked about the meals a little bit. It's not, there's a chef, and he's an award-winning chef. He's originally from Chicago.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk a little bit about the food, because this is something, for those of you, as people get to know me, they realize that, wow, Jesse really eats a lot. And then it's not wrong. Yes, I'm into intermittent fasting and things of that nature, but when I'm not fasting, I'm feeding. And so one of the things I love about this place is literally every meal is one of those meals that you've been looking forward to. Like, you may not have even known you were looking forward to it, but it's just like, oh my God. And this is just lunch. It's not like, hey, we got some bologna sandwiches over here and you can have one. It's really, really good. And of course there's healthy options that are insanely delicious, and there's a few cheat meals. And hey, you know what? We're not going to judge. You better not be looking at my plate too, because did I have fried chicken and waffles one time? Maybe I did. Guilty as charged.
Yeah. I mean, John's an amazing chef. Like the first time I went up there, he came out of the kitchen, introduced himself, said hello. Probably 15, 20 minutes later, I see him come out with this big silver bowl, and he gets over to the bar and pours some stout in, and I'm like, what's he's making? And then 15 minutes after that, he comes out, he goes, here's some beer battered cheese curds, right? Which is
oh my God
thing. So
yeah.
Again, not maybe the super healthiest deal, but I tell you what, they were amazing. And so the food is fantastic. It's not just, there to give us some calories and some protein to get us through the day. It's really a highlight. The food's fantastic.
Yeah. Rusty says, Jesse looks like a Viking both on and in real life much more. Well, I am all about the feasting. So, but yeah, so the food is great. The rooms are just spacious and nice, just really nice. As far as the amenities go, it's really, as far as that goes, it's exceptional, really exceptional. And when you arrive, of course, this is the cool thing. Now, just to kind of give you a little insight, little insider's tips on how James and I work. We have a pretty good idea of what the event is going to be like, but the weather does come into play. Okay, so everything's frozen. All right, cool. We'll do it this way. Okay, everything's not frozen, but it's cold over here, and so we get to really work with the lay of the land. We get to really lean into nature, because it is this absolutely. When you go, and especially those. I assume everyone's going to drive at least the last leg of it and not do an Uber. But hey, even if you do an Uber, you're going to look around, and it is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's this, it's this kind of. It's like it's not in a city. It's not next to a city. It is just
down to the 7-Eleven to get anything. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
5 minutes, but
it's this area where I mean it is very, very nature, and you go to this place, and when we're there, at least this is how it was last time, and I would assume it's going to be this way again. Is that it's pretty much just us. It's just a bunch of Hoffers. Hoffers descend on the premises, and we Hoff. And we do Wim Hof method. Another thing, though, something that we also do, there's a really excellent yoga instructor that will work you well in the morning. And then also, we're also going to do other styles of breath work as well. So like what James was saying, Friday night after we eat, we let ourselves digest a little bit. We're also doing some work on ourselves too. It's not just, hey, this is a learning. Hey, let's learn the method and intellectual only. We're really trying to step into really the fullness of ourselves. And so there's definitely a lot of, we'll tell you about some of the science and some of those things of the Wim Hof method, but it's all for a purpose of really living our best life, becoming the best version of ourselves.
Yeah.
And
like,
yeah,
you've probably heard the terms at retreats, like you get a chance to escape, right?
Yeah.
And literally when, what Jesse's talking about, we're in the middle of nowhere, you do really escape. And in some spots, it's very difficult to get cell phone service. So, I'm sure a lot of you are on here because you either love breath work, interested in doing it, or want to learn how to, right? So you understand that being able to do breath work, it's not like a 15-minute thing in the morning.
Right.
And for some of us, it has to be just a 15-minute thing in the morning. But you get a chance to immerse ourselves in nature, to immerse yourself in breathwork, to immerse yourself in a like-minded community, right?
That is huge. I really can't underscore that enough, because the people that come to these events, it's not just a bunch of jerks that are just trying to, it's a bunch of, prickly people. No, when you go to these events, you're finding, hey, wow. There's a lot of people out there working on themselves. And the cool thing is we're from different walks of life. It's not necessarily like, oh, everybody, I guess everybody's into yoga. No. Maybe we're all trying it on Saturday morning or whatever, but we're not all necessarily. And everybody's kind of coming from different backgrounds, different places, locations. But everybody's really open, and you'll meet people that you'll stay in contact with. And one of the beautiful things is, James and I get to be and stay in contact with everybody if you want to be in contact with us. But then I'll see, maybe on social media or somebody or whatever, people who met at one of these retreats interacting. And I'm like, there is a friendship. That is awesome. That is something that you just walk forward and you say, man, it's a place where we can, escape. We can disconnect from whatever it is going on in our lives, reconnect with ourselves, connect with other people who are also on this walk.
And the magic, the opportunistic thing about the time of the year that this is going to be, this is, typically a time of year where we've all come up with some new ideas, some new ideals, and some things that we want to do for ourselves, start of the year, right? So we got resolutions, and so this is a great way to really hone in, maybe it's, like connecting, plucking some things out of us that we don't want, plugging some things into us, right? And so, you got escape from your normal routine, which for some of us helps us to get to where we want to go. For some of us, it's like swimming upstream. So you're swimming downstream most of the time, with certainly from an external perspective. I know obviously that internal journey for everybody can feel like you're swimming upstream sometime, but you've got support from Jesse and I leading and guiding and assisting you through your journey. Then you got the support of the people that are around you, and then you're in this idyllic space, right? Like another thing that's amazing about it, because you're in the middle of nowhere, on a clear night, you walk out there and you're like, there are 3 times the
Oh my
amount
God.
of stars in the sky than I've ever seen before.
And you don't have to just enjoy that from the comfort of the cold or your coat or just by yourself. There's all these places for fires. There's these fire pits, and just chairs and things like that. It's just a fantastic place to be. You can go off, be by yourself. You can return, be with the rest of the tribe. You've got a lot of flexibility. So I've got a question here from Brandon. Brandon is wondering, is it pet friendly? Is it dog friendly?
My dog's been there twice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the answer. And Ruby will be there probably. Ruby's a golden retriever from what's his name? Oh, I forget his name now.
But we've met Ruby whenever.
Yeah.
I mean, just as a pup, right?
Yeah, Ruby was a little golden that we went fishing with. So yes is the answer. It's pet friendly. Our dog stayed in his little cage and then in the bathroom. But yeah, there's not an issue there for sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I'll finish, a little bit here. So
Yeah.
What are you getting? 2 nights accommodation, right? And keep in mind, it's an award-winning golf resort. It won Best New Golf Resort, I think, in 2019. And that's, I think, from Golf Digest. So it's plush place. It's certainly one of the best place you and I have ever done a retreat.
Yeah, it is.
Been to, either attended, anything Wim Hof or breath work, all your meals. So, really, unless you're drinking alcohol, you don't have to dig into your wallet at all. Right.
Right.
You get access to yoga in the morning. Ashley does yoga, 2 yoga sessions in the morning prior to our stuff, which I'm usually there. You get to do a nature hike with Chelsea. You get the amenities of the place. Then all the Wim Hof stuff. So Jesse and I leading you through breathwork, cold exposure. So you get 2 days of us. You get access to us, and that's the weekend. So it's Friday through Sunday afternoon. We want to make sure you have an opportunity to all get home to be back at work for Monday. So that's what it is. And then what we were able to do with Sand Valley, is come up with some incentives or some, what we call early bird specials. I've had the good fortune of staying, like they call it a cabin, but it's these houses that surround some of the lakes that are there. So the early bird specials are as follows. For the first 20 people who sign up, you're going to get a copy of this book that is a fantastic guide to breathwork, written by Jesse. So you get a copy of Jesse's book. You're going to get 2 45-minute Zoom sessions with me prior to the event. And we may do one post-event, because what I want to make sure is, you're prepped. So we're going to have a Zoom call. We're going to talk a little Wim Hof. We're going to do some Q&A, and we're going to do a few other cool things to really have you maximize your time when you're up in Sand Valley with us. And then maybe we'll also include a call after, in order to, we want you both to leave with a practice that you can take home, pack up. So it might be a recharge, 2 weeks after. So that'll be 2, maybe 3 Zoom sessions with me pre and post event. For the first 2 double occupancy people, there's a room upgrade. I've stayed in, I can't remember what it's called. Maybe it's the Madison room or something like that, but it's a suite instead of, let's call it the regular hotel room. So for the first 2 people who sign up with double occupancy, you get a room upgrade. There are also upgrades to these cabins that I'm talking about, and they call them cabins, but what they are is a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house.
They're
stayed in it. So the one that I stayed in, the bedrooms are upstairs. So there's 4 bedrooms and upstairs. Then downstairs is just a big open space with a kitchen, a living room. The one I had had shuffleboard in there, and they're all king size beds. So king size bed with your own bathroom. So if there was 4 singles that wanted to get together, I think there's 2 of those cabins that are available. So they will automatically upgrade you. For a group, you just mentioned, hey, listen, am I available for the upgrade? So that's the first 20 people get a book and some Zoom sessions with me to really get you focused on your practice. Then we'll do some Q&A and some other cool things. And then, if I guess if you're in the first 4 people and you're staying in the lodge, you get an upgrade. Or if you're one of either 4 or 8 or however that works, if you want to have a couple, or there's 4 couples that want to get together and jump in one of the cabins, you can upgrade to the cabin, which gives you a little bit more space. It is not like it's away from where dinner and the breath work and those things will be. So it's a really short drive. It's not too far. But you get your own house. Or if you're a couple of parents and you wanted to bring your kids, right, that could also be a good opportunity to do it that way. So that's what's available from upgrades from Sand Valley. For free.
And yes, Carly, the book will be signed. And
I didn't want to say that, mate, but
yes. Well, Carly's making some comments here. She's ready to hear. She said early bird specials, yes, and yes, and those, all the books will be signed, and of course, I'll be willing to. I'll also have copies on hand if you'd like to. Also, if anybody else would like to purchase a book or anything like that. And happy to sign as well.
Too is if you sign up, right? Some of you may already have Jesse's book, so you're like, hey, listen, sure, 2 is better than 1, but if you sign up, maybe we could work it out with Jesse that he could get it to you before Christmas. It'd be a great gift for someone, right? So
just let us know. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Sign up, and here's the question. Obviously, what does it cost, right?
Right.
It's a lot of value. You're getting 2 nights accommodation, all your meals in a beautiful, beautiful resort, right? You're getting, I don't exactly know how to it's like 3 workshops in one, right? You get Friday, Saturday, and it's not just Wim Hof. We're going to do different breath works. We're going to do a little more meditative. We're going to do some exercises to help you,
and some functional breathing instruction too.
And then you get access to all those amenities, right? And so, the price is $825 for a single person. That's it. So $825, right? $825 for double occupancy, right? So
okay.
Double occupancy,
so if you have a roommate.
Yeah, so if you have a roommate, or if you're in, if you're with one of those and you upgrade to the cabin, it's $825. You get a king size bed with your own bathroom in a house. And if it's single occupancy, you want to come by yourself, it's $997. So which is really just amazing.
That's the room to yourself type of
that's
thing.
The room. That'd be a hotel room.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So and the cool thing is, again, like you were saying, like I don't know, we had such a great time last year that we're just really looking forward to this new one. And so, of course, with James and I, we're always just trying to get better at what we do. And ultimately, like you said, it's almost like 3 workshops in one over the amount of the retreat. So,
I mean, obviously a lot of you here have known Jesse for a little while. I'm sure this isn't the first time you've signed up.
Some of you guys have, yes. I've got Una from when I was in Poland commenting. It's good to see you, my friend.
But, we just want to deliver exceptional value. We're both, amazingly, grateful to be able to teach, certainly the Wim Hof method. And it's part of the journey of both of us to learn more about ourselves and become, the best version of ourselves. And we want to impart as much value as we can, both through the, through the event and both pre and post. So we've worked with Sand Valley to try to make it, exceptionally valuable. Right.
And quick questions from, and Carly's putting on a vision board and a prayer list. We hope you get there. Rusty was wanting to know how much more would we charge to tell him a bedtime story, and we'll come up with something. We didn't plan on that to be part of the early bird special, but maybe it's like, well, okay, now we're going to tell you a bedtime. Lots of dragons and things. I don't know.
I've already done a let's say a challenge with Donnie. Donnie's the GM up there at Sand Valley, and if we get to a certain number by a certain time, He was the guy when we first got up there, and he was looking at us going, like, cool, but you guys are freaking crazy. And then we get
that all the time, though, I think. And so,
but Donnie's standing on the dock. We've got the hole in the ice, and he's holding towels. And I wasn't sure if he was being there like to sort of help us, or he was there. Hey, listen, I want to see if everyone's going to do this, or is he like really freaked out that something's going to go wrong? Anyway, Donnie was thinking we're crazy. He said to me, if you get to this number, I'm getting in the ice that weekend.
Oh, dude.
So other things that we would love to. Some of you may or may not know. Jesse's a pretty talented guitar player.
Thank you, sir. Got
only
two here because one is just right there. I was playing right before we started, so I'm practicing.
Maybe Friday night or Saturday around a fire, or you might be able to coax him into a little sing along. Maybe not a bedtime story, but maybe a sing along, Rusty. So.
We can do so. And the cool thing is, there's all these awesome like fireplaces and stuff. I mean, it's such a cozy, awesome place. Jessica Johnson is wanting to know. So it's $825 per person if they do the double occupancy.
Or quadruple occupancy if you want to get one of the cabins.
So or you could. And the cool thing is, I got to say, like for instance, just a second, Yuna's on here from Poland. I mean, that's just pretty typical. Whenever you do a Wim Hof retreat of some kind, you'll have some. You might even meet a new person, that you've never met before, and so it's kind of nice. Now, the nice thing about the cabin is, I think you'd have your own bedrooms, or how would that work?
Four bed, four bath. Each bedroom has its own bathroom, and then and again, the one that I stayed at, 4 king size beds, 4 bedrooms, and then downstairs was just this big open space that overlooked the lake, a lot of glass behind. It was like the kitchen was there that overlooked the lake if you were standing that way. Big dining room table in the middle. There's a shuffleboard over there, and I mean it was
so awesome. This place seriously is. It's an amazing place. So we have a few other things. Now, first of all, Carly's not sure dragons would make a great sleep-inducing bedtime story. I don't know. You might be right, but then it could be like a fuzzy, lovable dragon or something. Rusty says he's going to request Lord of the Rings because someone in this video hates Lord of the Rings. I don't hate Lord of the Rings. I just didn't like reading Lord of the Rings. For some reason, and I love the stories. The story is amazing. It's an amazing story. The movies were great. But when I was a kid, I read The Hobbit, and I got all the way through that. But I just didn't like, I don't know, it just, for some reason, and I'm probably going to get all kinds of hate mail for this. For some reason, I just didn't like the book of Lord of the Rings. So,
what other questions do we have there that I can answer?
Yeah. So let's see. Carly says she will join in the jam session. Okay, let's do it. We're going to do it. She says she's going to play the kazoo. That's a valid instrument.
Yes.
I'll take that. Kazoo works.
I am going to bring. I am musically talented, immensely music talented. I have these little maracas that are the little plastic Easter eggs. I'm really good with those.
Yes. And this is another thing because even if it's a 2-person room, the rooms are very spacious. Like it's not like, hey, it's not like bunk beds and then you kind of
queen size beds in most of the regular they call it at the lodge rooms. And
so you have plenty of room. Yeah. And so bring an instrument if you want to. Hey, I think we might have just decided it. We're going to have a sing-along time.
Because the maraca doesn't exactly make a band. A guitar would certainly,
That's true. The guitar, I think, is going to happen. Make sure to remind me, and I'll also leave this up to everyone here to make sure, because we're going to have to talk about this again. We always need reminders. And the thing is, I don't get, this is how I can guarantee I get a little bit of James time. I'm like, James, we need to go do a live. Let's do a live. Peter was asking, he's like, you guys still don't have anything coming to Europe yet. I'm sorry, my friend. It may be a little while, but I tell you what, you find us the right place, and we'll talk. So Rusty's saying, what if he brings his didgeridoos?
Oh, giddy up. I'm Australian and all, mate, and I can make some noise. But if you can play that, I will be in heaven. I'll dance a jig, mate.
So actually, he added, I thought Australians were born knowing how to play didgeridoos. So
I'll tell you the quick story, right, of how they learn, that the Aboriginals learn to play the didgeridoo from a young age. Basically, they're taught to do the cyclical breathing. So it's
nice.
that in the pre-straw days, right? It was they'd get a reed and it was just continuously blow bubbles, right? So it's like, because you can't breathe in your nose and out your mouth at the same time, and that's that cyclical breathing. Here we are on a breathwork channel talking.
Yeah, right.
Like, fancy that. But so it's in your nose and out your mouth at the same time, and you think, you try and think about that. It's difficult to do, but that's how they used to learn to play the didgeridoo, is in the nose, out the mouth at the same time.
Jonathan says he'll bring his slide whistle so we can have a nice boop.
Again,
Thank you, Jonathan.
More instruments that I can play. That's great.
I tell you, Jonathan is probably one of the most talented musicians I've ever met. So if you bring your slide whistle, I actually have pretty high expectations. Even if it's one of those like ring pops or whatever that is the slide whistle thing, I'm just assuming you're gonna get sound like Beethoven. So hey, whatever your instrument is, Jonathan, I'm expecting great things. And I will say, Rusty, if you have a didgeridoo, you've officially volunteered to bring it at this point. So I'm not sure if he actually has a didgeridoo, but if he does, I think we all have witnessed it. We've all witnessed this.
It's going down on the digital annals now, right?
So and we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but guys, if you have any questions, if there's anything else you wanted us to converse about or talk about, please feel free.
One of the other things I'll mention really quickly. So say you're interested and you want a roommate just to save a few dollars, which I totally understand. Sand Valley would also be okay with you calling and saying, hey, listen, put me on the list of if there's someone else who wants a room. Just to give you a little bit of a logistical understanding, it's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive from the greater Chicagoland area. I'm from the north side of Chicago, so it's about a 3 to 3.5. If you're on the south side, it's probably closer to 4. Minneapolis is about 3. It's in a place called Nekoosa. If you look up Nekoosa, Wisconsin, I think it's Neeksoa, something like that. Or if you just go to and so how do you book? That's
we should probably cover that.
Yeah,
we've tantalized them with all of this early bird special, and I just said it's near Rome, Wisconsin.
It is. It's Rome on Nekoosa is, but Rome's better because Rome's a bigger town.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the only way to book is to call. Sand Valley is very big. So probably one of the biggest things that I failed to mention that you get, and I wouldn't mention it if it really didn't make an impact on me all the times I've been up there. The service is phenomenal.
It really is.
The people are, happy, genuinely interested in getting you whatever it is that you need. We had to fill up tubs and that sort of stuff. And Jesse and I had never been in that space where if we asked for something and it appeared 15 minutes later, right?
I've got to say it was really almost surreal the first time we did it. We're like, yeah, we'd like to put the tubs over there. And almost immediately and then there's these people doing this stuff and we just weren't used to. It's like, wow.
Yeah. The staff, the bar staff, the wait staff,
incredible.
Trying to think of, anyway, I'll remember their names, but they're genuinely interested. I don't want to use a phrase, but the Midwestern hospitality is alive well in Sand Valley Resort. And
yes.
it really is I mentioned to Michael Kaiser when, I first met him, I said, listen, it's an awesome place, beautiful, but what really makes it is your people are amazing. And I couldn't express that enough. So the service is fantastic. Sandvalley.com. You can't book on there, but that'll give you, there's some amazing images there. I think now they have a winter page. You may see some photos of people jumping in the ice there, and their winter events. But, the telephone number is obviously at sandvalley.com, but if you want it, it's 877-261-1141. And you want
What was that one more time?
877. So 1-877-261-1141.
I'm typing that in the
I hope I
description
transcribed that
here.
correctly. But sandvalley.com, you want to go to reservations, and obviously you're booking for the wellness, the Wim Hof Wellness Weekend on January 7 to 9, January 2022. Yeah. So.
And then we also have another one. It's February.
I don't have those dates yet, and I'll be honest, I don't think they're open for reservations on the dates yet.
Okay.
I want to. I want to. There are a few things you and I talked about that we'd love to get on the book there in order to be able to make it a little bit more exciting and attractive for people.
That's true. We need.
Yeah,
I got to say, the January one is such a perfect time.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things we try to do, James and I, you'll get a absolute as full of a Wim Hof method experience as can be at this location with me and James. And then we try to make it some kind of a theme. Stepping into yourself was basically what we were doing last year, and into the new you. And then essentially that's what we want it to be. We want it to be something that really helps a person and anybody who comes step into whatever they need to step into. And so, especially the very first thing you do in that year, you have New Year's Eve and all these things, but man, you get into the very next weekend, and then you're saying, I'm going to start this year off with a fresh breath, and it's powerful.
I mean, I think Jesse and I talked about it. We were wanting to, theme this event flow, right?
Yeah, this year, yeah.
And I'll share a quick sort of story of as my Wim Hof practice, but just generally my practice of, if you want to call it self-discovery of introspection, whatever, has evolved beyond the physiological and, let's say, the psychological benefits of the Wim Hof method. What I found more and more is that ability to sit in discomfort. So, I'm talking about sitting in the ice, right? I've been doing some other study on Michael Singer and different things, and I try to consume as much as I can. And what I've really found is that we talked about maybe plucking some things out. If I can dislodge some beliefs, attachments, trauma, things that don't serve me, if I can dislodge some of those, my flow is much better. I'm much more aligned. And so, what I've really seen improvements, but I've really come to sort of tangibly understand is that surrender and that release and that ability to sit in that discomfort for a little while and not attach a story, not label it, not editorialize whatever discomfort is happening, certainly in the ice, but then you take that to, like for me, my relationships have improved immensely because I'm able to sit internally in a discomfort relation, whether it's with my wife, whether it's with my adult son, those two specifically, and not label it, not externally blame, but internally organize it, cough up that verbal, sit in that discomfort. And what I've really found is then you find that calm, right? And I've disliked, like I'm sometimes it's painful. Certainly getting in the ice, right? Usually I have a story before I'm getting in the ice. Why am I doing this? This is going to suck. This is going to be cold. And it just seems to evaporate now, right? Like I just get to my breath. And so, what I've really found is that in my calm, I've found my courage. Right?
I love that.
And so, like, I just want to share, like, I know we talk about Wim Hof, and sometimes it can be a little rah, and there's so many facets of breath work and cold exposure, and what I've really noticed in my practice is that ability to sit in that discomfort, to not label it, not have that little voice, editorializing, label, judging. I can just sit in it and release it. And so I'm really starting to understand that release, that surrender, that letting go of certain things. And so, as Jesse and I've talked a few times, like the idea of flow, right? If the idea of a stream, right? You're on a stream, whether you watch a stream, anyone whitewater rafts, right? Where is your attention, and why are you whitewater rafting? Because there's these big freaking rocks in the middle and it disrupts, it creates eddies, and some of the really big rocks, the bow wave comes a foot or 2 foot, in front of the rapid, right? And we are like that when we have discomfort and things. So we're up there to find some flow, maybe dislodge some things we don't want. But, I just wanted to share, that's what our theme of the event is going to be, is flow.
Yeah. So prepare to find your flow, So guys, if you guys have any questions, please let us know. And again, that number is 1-877-261-1141, and it is at Sand Valley Golf Resort. And it's at a time when there's not going to be any golfers there. It'll just be a bunch of hoffers there. Yeah. So deep breathing, healthy, just positive environment, all sorts of different kinds of breath works. Of course, we'll be doing Wim Hof method protocol, and we'll be doing power breathing. So the deep altered state style of breath work that we learned from Wim, we'll be doing that as well. Of course, taking dips out in nature, really having a lot of fun in nature, and having a lot of leisure time to really connect with other people and just to reconnect with yourself, find that flow. Check us out. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me. You just go to my website, jessecoomer.com, and just click contact us. James can be reached at. What's the best way? What would you like people to do?
Chicago Wim Hof method on Facebook is probably the best way.
Yeah.
To get to me that way.
Yeah, and if you're in Chicago, guys, and you would like to take a dip, or if you'd like to learn Wim Hof method, definitely reach out to James Stewart. Yeah. James is on the WimHofMethod.com website, yep. But he is the main guy in the Chicago page.
I have some questions, Jesse, and I know this is your YouTube channel, and but some of you may not like. Would it be fair to say that by the time we get to Central Wisconsin, you would have completed more workshops this year than you have any other year? Like you're a really busy guy, and you've gone across the country. I mean, you're heading out to Oregon very soon to do to do an event with another really great instructor who's been up Kilimanjaro with Wim, and so Jesse's been really busy, which is not only great for him, but here's what is great for the people who come to these events is he's had a lot of questions, he's done a lot of things, and when you work with someone else, you pick up some things, right? You learn some nuances and some techniques and some different things. So I'm excited to get back in the workshop with you. I know you and I will probably have one coming up in Chicago, maybe late September, early October. And it's always fun because you learn new things when you work with someone else. And so, Jesse's traipsed across the country this year. So, we are not cookie cutter by any stretch when we do, this retreat. We have some boxes we need to tick or we want to tick.
Right.
But we have time for conversation. We have time to head down some rabbit holes, and there is a little choose your own adventure, Yeah,
absolutely.
So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's a busy year, and it's one of those things that I'm incredibly grateful for, especially considering last year came to a sudden stop. But it started off incredibly well because of exactly the event we're talking about. The inaugural events at Sand Valley, and then it just kind of continued on with different events other places. This coming month, so next month, I'm going to be I'll be in Oregon on August 8th. I'll be working with Matthew Soul. He and I both directly we trained in that first class right under Wim, and actually, I think, James, you met both of us on the same day.
Yeah.
Back in, what was it, 2018?
Yeah.
And
2017, I think.
2017. Yeah.
Something like that.
and then of course then so early August I'll be in Portland or in Newport, Oregon, and then mid to late August I'll be in the Columbus, Ohio area. So that's when I get to work with our friend Kamalika Stockton,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic. And then
And
of course
I get the privilege of working with you at our first big corporate event in September.
that's
Right?
true. That's true. There's big things on the horizon that are in the works. Um, it's one of those things where I've been incredibly busy doing a lot of things that I absolutely love doing, sharing with people that I believe deserve to hear it. And it makes a person really busy, and it can be stressful. So it's another reason why it's so important to have these skills. So it's not just a skill that I'm teaching. It's the more I do, the more I need to practice. And just early, actually, was it yesterday? This is the thing about the weird thing is like each day is so jam packed. I forget if it was yesterday or the day before that I do work with drug rehab clinics, and you know it's one of those things where I'm so thankful, especially to my Patreon members, that you make it so easy for me to do those things so I can give back to the community as well. So a lot of just here and there and all these different places. Just got back from the Convergence in North Carolina this past weekend, and it was a lot of different styles of breath work that I got to share. Actually, right before we met up, I was doing the Patreon live session. So all kinds of just awesome things. And I got to say, it's been such a blessing to work with you, James, because like you said, you pick up things. And one of the things I love, of course, you and we've always really just jived.
Yeah.
You know, it's never been one of these things where it's like, oh, I got to figure out how to work with this guy. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, we're on the same page. You know,
one of the things you and I both embrace pretty well, one of the whims is no ego, we go, right? Like,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly, because it's so and just just tipping into just to give people a behind the scenes to this space. There's a lot of people that say this in our space, but there's also a lot of people who they're saying it, but man, it's kind of a big ego thing, and that's one thing that's been always so refreshing working with you, James. And what's funny is how hard sometimes we work to try to find criticism. And that's something a lot of times we want to avoid naturally. Nobody wants to hear, hey, this should have been like this. I wish you hadn't done it this way. But it's something that, again, when you're not so much, it's like, it actually comes back to breath work. One of the things I always talk about when it comes to breath work is that it's a practice, not a performance, and that's really what this is. When we put on retreats and workshops, it's not a finality. It's not like this is the grand finale. This is the thing we have to live with. That was the one time you did it. No, man, it's just like a breath practice. It's just like a ice bathing or dance, sports, anything like that. Yeah, there is a certain aspect where it's like, hey, we're doing this. This is an important event. We're adding value. We're bringing it. But we know that it's not the end. And so
I think those events give you a chance to maybe jump 3 steps at once or 4 steps at once instead of, making progress. It certainly, for me, in the events that I've attended as an attendee, and even more so as a facilitator of it, it accelerates your growth.
Yes. Yes, I absolutely agree. So, guys, we want to thank you all for being here today. It's always so much fun to get to talk to James. And actually, this has been a great group. And I look forward to, hey, Carly says she's sharing it with her sons. Thank you so much, Carly. You've been so much fun to have here. Everybody, thank you for all the positive and happy comments, the good questions. And feel free to reach out to us again to find out more about this event or that's coming up. January will be here before you know it. And of course, those early bird bonuses, it's for the first 20 people, right, James?
And this is the first time that this is our marketing launch of it. We wanted to make sure we launch it to Jesse's people and to our people. first. So, Sand Valley's going to start marketing it in August on their new page and different things like that. So, if you want to take advantage of those early bird specials, certainly, get on.
Get in on it now. Get in on it now.
And call reservations. And if you have questions that you want to call them directly, you can certainly call them. They're happy to have discussions. We've been through it with their reservation team, so they're well versed in all the logistical challenges there. So.
That's right. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Guys, everybody have a great weekend. Happy Friday to everybody. Thanks again, James, for being here. And guys, go out there and be kind to one another.
Amen. See you, brother.
Bye-bye.